Well guys, that was an absolute brutal night. Hello guys, and welcome into another video. I am Ryan. My wife Megan is in the camper right now sleeping, but today we're going to go over how much do travel therapists make. So it's pretty common knowledge that travel therapists make more than permanent staff therapists, but how much more do they make and why? So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. We are currently at the Hot Springs National Park campground. We came in late last night. Megan and I got off work late on a Friday, and then we drove about 4 to 5 hours down to Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'm trying to remember what national park this will be. I think we're on like 25, 26. We're close to 25. So we're real excited for the actual national park, and it's awesome that we got a reservation here in the campground at the actual national park campground. But when we came in last night, it was about 12:30, kind of a RVing noob move where we're coming in at dark, so it's hard to set up, it's real late. And then you throw on top of that we have an 8-month-old. And so that just kind of adds to everything. Once you go camping multiple weekends in a row, you kind of get some efficiency, and we are just not at the efficiency part of it here in the pop-up camper, that's for sure. We do have along with us our babysitter Olivia, who's been with us the whole contract in Kansas. But anyway, we got all set up. The propane heater was working. We have a little electric heater that we turned on. We were getting it warmed up in there. We kept Reagan. Olivia stayed with Reagan in the warm car while Megan and I set up. And then eventually we got to get in there, and it was nice and cozy. Everyone got their blankets, plenty of blankets. Everyone was nice and warm. Not too many hours after that, trying to go to sleep, we woke up and you feel that instant cold. Your face is like halfway numb because it's so cold. Come to find out that our camper heater actually went out. I thought it was because we were out of propane, but that was not the case. It just is not working. I don't know if it's thermostat. I'll have to kind of tinker with it. But all we were getting, the only heat we were getting was from our little bitty electric heater, and that's just not going to heat the space very well. So it was sitting around like 50 degrees in the camper while it was below freezing outside. So definitely not ideal with a little baby, and not ideal for 3 adults either. It was the middle of the night. Stores weren't quite open yet, so I couldn't go get a heater. So we went ahead and put Megan and Reagan into the Subaru. We had it on and the heat on, and so Megan and Reagan kind of hung out in there. Reagan was having a hard time falling asleep, probably because she was cold. We did have her all bundled up, but in the car was a lot better because we could heat it. Very, very early this morning, I got to make a run into town, and I went ahead and bought this infrared heater that we have hooked up in there now, and it's definitely brought the camper back up to temperature. And so the 3 girls are actually sleeping in there, nice, warm, and cozy. While I was out, got a little Starbucks as always. But man, not how we wanted this camping trip to go. This is also Olivia's first camping trip, so we're really breaking her in with, below freezing weather in a camper that the heating went out. So she might not ever go camping with us again. So my wife and I have worked as travel physical therapists for the past 3 years, and we've earned anywhere from $1,500 per week all the way up to $2,000 plus per week. Now, typically what we tell prospective travelers or people looking into getting into travel therapy is you're going to earn somewhere between $1,600 to $1,800 per week. Now, that's for your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, and your speech language pathologist. Now, if you're a CODA or a PTA, you're going to earn a little bit below that. But that kind of gives you a good range for you PTs, OTs, and SLPs out there. So like I said, around $1,600 to $1,800 per week is very typical. We've earned on the low end of that spectrum. We've earned way up above that, like I said, over $2,000 plus per week. So you really know it's a cold night when the tent campers around you are like leaving around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, packing up their tents and heading out. Oh man. I felt like we were right there with them. We basically had just a tent on a trailer with our pop-up with no heat. Last night was one of those nights where I was missing Big Betty, our motorhome that Megan and I have renovated, because it is nice and cozy and the heat works. Oh, that'd have been so great. But we didn't bring it on this contract. As you know, we're renting a house, and then we brought our pop-up for some weekend adventures. We don't typically take Big Betty on weekend adventures. It's just really cumbersome with how big the motorhome is for a quick weekend turnaround. We've tried it. We don't necessarily like it. The pop-up definitely pulls better, but we got to work out some kinks. All right, so you might be wondering why all travel therapy compensation packages are listed in dollars per week instead of, an hourly rate. This is due to travel therapy being a little bit unique, and that most travel companies and travel recruiters, when they are showing you that travel therapy pay package of, $1,600 per week, that is after-tax dollars, meaning that money each week is based off you working 40 hours, so a full work week, and that's some money that taxes have already been taken out of, and that money goes straight into your pocket. Most travel companies, most recruiters actually show you that net amount. So when you're seeing that $1,600 to $1,800 per week, that is dollars in your pocket. Now, we have dealt with a few travel companies that actually show you the gross amount, but they're very quick to tell you, like, this is the gross amount, and this is what we would estimate taking out taxes. This would be your net. And so that is why it's a little bit different. And it's a little bit different because you're going to take, 13-week contract assignments most of the time. And so they're going to pay you on the weekly. Now, that being said, there is an hourly that you're paid that's calculated inside that. Now, as a travel therapist, you will get paid an hourly rate, but that's already included into that weekly pay. And it can be often misleading if you just look at that hourly rate on your pay package, because most travel therapists make between $20 to $25 per hour, which is way lower than the hourly rate for a permanent staff member. But there's a reason that this is done. This is so your hourly taxable income can be as low as possible, and then your travel company can put as much money into those travel stipends, like your housing, your food and incidentals, which are tax-free. So you're getting paid more, but you're able to be taxed less because of how we're allotting it. Now, the travel companies, ethical travel companies, will do this up to the permitted amount by law. They'll never go over it. They'll never put your hourly rate so low, like $10 per hour, because that's going to put up red flags with the IRS. And so, like I said, around that 20 to 25 is pretty industry standard, which is a lot lower than permanent staff employees. This is a huge reason why travel physical therapists or travel therapists in general make more money than permanent staff employees. Now, be warned that if you're going to claim those tax-free stipends from the travel company, you do have to show dual expenses while maintaining your tax home. Now, this isn't the video that we're going to dive deep on that, but if you check out some of our other travel therapy insider videos, you'll find out that we have a video on tax homes where we go a little deeper on what does it mean to maintain a tax home and what does dual expenses mean, but it's all about staying in tax code compliant, so make sure you check out that video before you even start travel therapy and have a good understanding of it, because otherwise you could be accepting tax-free money when you're not supposed to be. What do you think, Reagan? Is that fun?
She's not fazed by last night.
I know. What's your opinion?
Oh, it was awful. I was like cursing the camper in my head and basically determined to sell it the next day. So that's how bad it was. It was real bad.
Yeah, she already has it listed on Facebook Marketplace.
No, it's never good to make a decision from a bad experience like that, but it is good to make changes from a bad experience like that. So we just haven't gotten to be in the pop-up camper that much and didn't really know how to do camping in the pop-up camper with a baby. It was real bad. But today's a new day. We got some sleep. It's better. Tonight will be better because we've already made adjustments. And we'll look back and we'll be like, remember that time that we didn't sleep at all? And we'll think it's funny and we'll like the memory, so.
Yep, making memories either way, good or bad. Oh, we haven't introduced you to Olivia yet. Here's Olivia, come over here.
Come on,
Olivia is our babysitter, also Megan's cousin.
Also,
joining us for our first adventure.
Also, like her first real camping experience, and we totally butchered it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing that again.
Yeah, she said she's going home. Okay, well, let's go ahead and load up the Subaru, and then we're gonna head over to Hot Springs National Park. Reagan, you're ready to go? You're all bundled up.
All right, let's go check it out.
So they have hot spring fountains here. We're gonna go touch it.
So from what I've researched, the Buckstaff Bathhouse is one of the 2 still functioning bathhouses today. But this one operates like in the medieval times. So they do some weird things. Like they've got a sitz bath where you just stick your butt in a sink. And they have attendants that follow you around while you're naked. It's just weird. I don't know.
Have all the old equipment.
But they have all the old equipment. So
get that experience.
if you want that experience, then more power to you. Did you see you can do a cell phone tour? That's like a phone tour for free, but on your cell phone. Weird. I feel like this is very European. Like Roman bathhouses, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
There's statues and stained glass, tons of marble. You could really sing in here. Oh, I kind of want to.
What is that? It looks like a torture device. Not gonna lie.
Oh, that's just a Hoyer lift. We actually use those in PT.
Is that a Hoyer lift?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that in there?
Get them out of the tub.
Huh. I did not expect this to pertain to my job. So I was not expecting this to like call upon my physical therapy roots. This like is a bathhouse, but then it also kind of crossed over into like a fitness gym place. But up here on the 3rd floor in the National Park Visitor Center, there's like this track above head, and there was a gurney that was on the track, and they moved the patient if they couldn't walk between rooms, and like we still do that today. A lot of this stuff here we still do, which is weird because it looks like ancient here, but we're still doing it, so I don't know if that's like good or bad, but it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm traveling back in time as a physical therapist.
Yeah, so they have aquatic therapy essentially in here, and they would work with, physical therapy would work with patients who couldn't ambulate. Downstairs, they had a full gym with with rings that you could swing around on and weights, and then also they had a nice display of the Xander, really kind of the first weight machines, which is really fascinating because we use a lot of the same kind of equipment, just a little bit modernized. They even had a thing that was essentially our electric stim. So either we're onto something or our profession's getting a little dated. I don't know. What do you think? Comment below. So we're going into Superior Baths for some lunch. Should be pretty good. All right, we have toured Bath Row and all the little shops, did a little Christmas shopping, and went at the visitor center. But we're gonna finish the day out with some ice cream as the girls want a sweet treat. And then we'll probably head back to the campground and relax a little bit in our warm camper. So Hot Springs was really fun yesterday. Got to kind of explore all of the street and the different bathhouses, and it was kind of weird. We weren't expecting to get a little bit of a physical therapy history lesson, but it kind of makes sense, you know, a lot of aquatic therapy, and then just the heat from the water, they used it for healing purposes, and so it was a lot of fun. We didn't get to bathe in any hot springs. That's our only one downfall. They wouldn't let Reagan come into the two bathhouses.
Yeah, I think you have to be older than 16. I'm not sure on that age, but it's somewhere around that age. You have to be older than in order to go into the Quapaw baths, at least is what I looked at. So we didn't really attempt it, but it would be cool to do.
So I definitely think Hot Springs National Park is a one-day thing. You can come in, kind of tour the visitor center, tour the bathhouses, go into a hot springs, and then go up to the tower that's actually just here near the campground. We can hike to it from the campground, but there's also, you can drive up to it and then go up the tower, and there's 360 degree views. Which,
excited to see
yeah,
that.
we're planning on doing that today, but I'm sure we can put in some footage of that experience right now.
So we wanted to circle back and touch on travel therapy pay, and one of the questions that a lot of people have is, why are facilities willing to pay so much for travel therapists? Can be confusing to kind of, you know, all of a sudden be presented with that type of pay package, but the reason is really straightforward, and it's basically just because they need somebody to come into the facility quickly in order to see patients and to earn the revenue that they otherwise would be missing out on.
A lot of these facilities are brand new facilities that are just growing like wild, or maybe they just had an influx of population, and so their business is actually growing faster than they can staff therapists. Or maybe they're a rural community where they can't quite get permanent therapists to move to that rural location and set roots down. And so they're needing someone to kind of bridge that gap, because they have patients who are needing to be seen, they have clients that are needing to be seen, and they need someone there so they don't lose out on that revenue.
Right.
That's where travelers kind of have an opportunity to step in and make a handsome profit.
Right. And the other aspect of it, besides revenue, is just the fact that a lot of these companies do already have enough patients to be seen, and they don't want the quality of their company to dip down or their patients to just be dropped off of service and not be able to be seen. I mean, they need that continuity of care, and that means that as soon as they can get somebody in, it's really important to get them in. And so that's kind of the background as to why the pay package is like it is.
So we wanted to end this video with a little bit of a breakdown of traveler earnings. So travel therapy pay, what are you kind of typically expecting yearly? Because if you're like me, I'd like to see the numbers, I'd like to compare it. And so take these numbers, compare it to your perm position that you're working at right now, or maybe offers that you're getting if you're a new grad. But these are kind of some basic numbers we'll kind of throw out at you. And so like I've already said in the video, we would recommend that a typical pay package for travel therapists are anywhere from $1,600 a week to $1,800 a week. That's pretty standard range. We've made anywhere from $1,500 a week all the way up to $2,000 plus per week. So we'll kind of give you a range. So for our traveler at the low end of the pay range, our pay range here, so making $1,600 per week, saying that you work 52 weeks, so a full year, you're going to end up making around $83,200 per year. Now, mind you, this is after tax. So this is $83,000 into your pocket. Now that's working a full year at the low end of a kind of traveler range. Now at the traveler high end range, making $1,800 per week, working 52 weeks a year, you're going to end up making around $93,600 per year. Again, after taxes.
But keep in mind that you do not have any paid time off. So if you want to take any time off during the year, typically at least 2 weeks are taken off at a permanent job for vacation that is paid. You will not receive that as a traveler. So
Right.
You will have to plan for taking time off and not being paid during that time.
And typically the time off that we find ourselves in is any vacation time we want to take, say a family vacation or a trip that we want to do, that's not paid. So we have to plan in advance financially for that. Also, some time off between contracts, depending on where you're traveling to. We've traveled from the Midwest all the way out far west, and that took a while to drive all the way out there. So we may have taken a week to give ourselves enough time. That was not paid. So time off between contracts. Now, if you're a little closer, we've also done where we ended on a Friday and started our contract on the next Monday. So it kind of depends to you, but think about that. Mm-hmm. So also what we'll add to this breakdown is saying that as a traveler, you would take 1 month a year off that is not paid. And so what do the numbers come out after that? So on that low end, making $1,600 per week, working only 48 weeks because you're taking 1 month off, you would then pocket $76,800 per year after taxes. Again, money in your pocket. If you're at that high range and you worked $1,800 per week for 48 weeks, and you would make around $86,400 per year after taxes. So still a very significant amount. I know in our area in St. Louis, as new grads at least, we were getting quoted around, making around $55,000 to $65,000 per year salary. So getting 2 weeks off of vacation, and that was before taxes. Once we took the taxes out, a rough estimate for Missouri, then we were making around $50,000 once the numbers kind of came out. So it kind of gives you the disparity there of how much more travel therapists make.
Mm-hmm. And we just hope kind of that breakdown is helpful for you, because it can be hard as a traveler to see a weekly pay amount and compare that to what you might make as a permanent therapy staff. So kind of extrapolating it out into that yearly range, especially with that potential time off, hopefully that's helpful for you. Benefits are going to be taken out of that in-pocket number that we just listed for you, just as it would be in a permanent job.
Yeah, that's basically it. The numbers we gave you was after tax. Then consider your benefits being taken out, your health insurance, dental, vision, that's all included. We do have a video on health insurance specifically for travel therapists, so be sure to check that out. But other than that, hopefully that kind of answers a question that we get a lot of the time is, how much do travel therapists make? And kind of gives you some ballpark numbers in there, and gives you a way to calculate so you have a little bit better idea, and maybe gives you a little bit more faith and confidence to take that leap into travel.
So hopefully it was helpful. Thank you for joining us this weekend in Hot Springs as we were exploring, kind of finishing out our contract in Kansas and Missouri, and we're getting ready over the next month to head to our next one. So you will be seeing that coming up.
Yeah, the next season in our YouTube series is coming out.
Figuring out how to travel still with a family.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Very, very different. We were happy to take a contract relatively close to home, and most of our videos were relatively close to home or back at home. So we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Our next contract, bearing that nothing goes wrong with it, will be further away. So we're real excited about that, to do some exploring in a new area a state we've never been to on a travel contract.
No. So I think we're gonna get back inside because it's still very chilly. And then
yeah, hot springs in cold winter time.
Let Reagan finish her nap. Then we'll plan on hitting up that tower to get aerial views of hot springs, and then we'll see you next week.
So until next time, see ya.